Impossible joint. Hopefully this one's better than the 64 one. Oh, that one's kind of cool. This one looks like Splinter Cell. I don't think I ever even like heard of this game. Cause like I said, everyone on Xbox would just be playing Splinter Cell or Metal Gear 2. Sonic 2. Oh shit. This is a cool version. The Limp Bizkit. Yeah. Operation Shawarma. Let's try this shit out. Whoa. Text captions. I guess that means subtitles. New game. Easy mode? Fuck that. The impossible mode on the 64 when you just have more objectives basically.
Member of your IM force be captured or killed.
Damn, she's raw.
The secretary will disavow any
Yeah, I had
knowledge
to
of your
interject. I
actions.
totally forgot to mention that. Yeah,
Good
the
luck,
dude
Lieutenant.
Barnes. He's the guy
This briefing will
from Mission
self-destruct in
Impossible
5
2.
seconds.
He's in this game. That's pretty neat. All right, so Mission Impossible 3 came out in 2006. I don't know why I was thinking 2003. So another really long hiatus. Infiltrate the Titanic. So this was a year after the Oprah interview, and I don't know if I mentioned the Matt Lauer one, where people were saying he misused the word glib. You're being so glib. It's kind of interesting in hindsight, like knowing how the mainstream media works now, like why they were going in so hard on Tom Cruise and Scientology at that time. But I feel like this movie was one of the first things to like kind of rehabilitate this image, because this movie was, I think it was pretty well received when it came out. Yeah, directed by J.J. Abrams. I also thought this was after Star Trek, but this, I remember now, this was his first directorial. So, but it's interesting because you can kind of see, it feels a lot like Star Trek 2009 or whatever. With like the look of the movie, it has that oversaturated look. The same cinematographer, I think, worked with him on that. And he also did Domino. I was like, oh yeah, that was even more oversaturated. Oh yeah, and he has to bring his fucking friends in, that fat guy, that fat fuck. No, he was on, I guess he was on Lost or some shit. And fucking Felicity, Carrie Russell. It's kind of cringy when he's like having to rescue her, and like they're like kind of teaming up to escape, and he throws her a gun in slow motion, and she fucking catches it out the earth and shoots some dudes. That was some early like girl boss shit. But later on, there's some scenes with like quick little flashbacks of like her and Tom, like he's like showing her like how to reload her gun or some shit really fast or whatever. It's like, you know, he's kind of like training her. It's like he's like improving on her progress
I'm
or
sure
whatever.
you're familiar with the man you're about to see.
And I kind of like
His name
that.
is Simon
It reminded me of like
an ex-intelligence agent who recently
like,
seized control
like
of the
Chris
Balkan
Redfield
nation
and
of
Rebecca.
Bulgaria. It's widely believed that
They need to
Aldo's
do that
coup
in
was the
Resident Evil
result of
9
a
where like
brilliant disinformation campaign.
maybe,
A
you
campaign
know,
that
she
saw
dies
government officials jailed
because
by
he
the
lost
dozen
Piers,
for
right?
alleged
And then
ties to
he also
organized crime.
technically lost Jill for a
Aldo's
little while.
network of spies is far-reaching and
But that
includes
would be
this
like
man,
pretty impactful if he
Mikhail
like
Marcoux, a veteran of the war in
teamed up with
Bosnia
Rebecca
and one of his
and she
most
died on
trusted
his watch.
advisors. This morning, we learned of Marcoux's desire to defect. In exchange for safe passage, he's agreed to provide us with a mini-disc cataloging Aldo's
and yeah,
worldwide
Philip Seymour
covert
Hoffman, dude,
operations,
rest in
which
peace.
may include the theft of highly
He's
advanced
definitely one of
weapons of
the
mass
highlights of the movie.
Your mission,
And like I said, it kind of reminded me of Star Trek
is to make
2009 because
contact
even
with
though it's not
Marcoux,
like a
obtain the mini-disc,
technically a
and escort him
revenge story,
safely from
it's
the
like
grounds of the Bulgarian Ministry of
it is like
Information. As usual,
a
you may
villain of
pick
the
your
week
team as you see fit.
type.
At your disposal will
story.
be telemetry expert Luther
Even though he's
Stickle,
technically
along with
not
pilot
even
and
the
driver
real main
Billy
bad guy.
Baird. Also joining you will be new agents.
But yeah,
Jasmine
obviously,
Curry
first time
and
I ever
George
saw him
Spelvin.
was fucking
Spelvin is a med
Twister,
school
dude.
dropout turned actor whose
See,
deceptive
Twister. I had
skills
that
are
fucking
extraordinary.
VHS.
Curry
It was one of the
graduated
movies I
#1
watched
in
a
her
lot.
class at Quantico. She's
And
wrong.
he had a lot of iconic
Well,
lines.
so were you
like,
once upon a time.
it's the extreme.
I'm confident she'll
And,
make the grade. As always,
Was it,
should you or
we
anyone
got Greenwich. When he's looking, and it looks like they got Big Rain Sky going green. And then they leave. He's like, we got Greenwich. And oh fuck, what was the other one? Oh yeah, when he when what's her face, his girlfriend Melissa Reeves here, when they're going off on their first like
All right, Luther,
tornado
I'm in.
chase.
Where's the telecom box?
There's a courtyard up ahead. You'll see it as you walk in.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's
Hack it,
like,
and I'll have a
this
peek around their
is the fun
system.
part,
That should
sweetheart.
get us inside.
I remember being blown away that like he wasn't actually like a fucking stoner, you know? He was really good in that part. And then also I always reference Boogie Nights when he tries to kiss what's his face. He's like, I'm a fucking idiot. I love that scene. He's really good in that movie too. He's good in everything. Oh, and what was that one movie? Schenectady, New York? That was a really good movie too. Yeah, it's fucked up. But I would say like it was, I don't know, it was kind of a mistake to me to like open the movie with like the best scene in the movie where he's got Tom Cruise tied up. Yeah, where he's got Tom Cruise tied up and he wants to know where the fucking thing is that he was supposed to find. But yeah, I also like later on when they capture him and they wake him up in the plane. It's kind of like the reverse of that scene that happens later. And Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, do you have a wife or a girlfriend? I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna hurt her. And then oh, and he tries to get him to talk by like hanging, Tom Cruise hangs him out of the plane. And then fucking Luther's dumbass says Ethan. And fucking after that it's over. Like, what the fuck, dude? Idiot.
All right, all is well.
But yeah, like I said, I think having that scene that early, like when they replay it again in the context of the movie, like you already saw it, so it kind of loses a weight. And so maybe they should have had more of him and the Kerry Russell stuff to like at the beginning, you know, to make you care about her getting her head blown up. But yeah, it's a pretty good escape scene.
Ethan,
And
Make
they
sure you hide the bodies. Security's
escape
tight
out
in
the
this area.
helicopter. And yeah, Jonathan Rhys Meyers is the pilot in his fucking knacker Irish accent or whatever. I wonder if like obviously he's like probably gets a lot of chicks, but like I wonder if like if one of them ever like wanted to fuck him and then they heard him talk and they were like turned off. He's like an Irish redneck. Later on when they're trying to capture him, he's like, what do you mean if we capture him, the buyers are no or something? Oh yeah, how are we gonna capture him? I thought the buyers know. And yeah, he has just barely a couple lines like that. Before he was like more of a star. And yeah, Simon Pegg. That's why I was confused too, cause like okay, so I guess he met him on this and then brought him into Star Trek. But he kind of like, cause I watched this like a week ago, so it's a little hazy, but he kind of just is introduced really quickly, and it's like not really a big deal. Like you wouldn't think he would be a major character in all the rest of the movies after this. And he's not like really comedy relief either.
And how's our friend from
It was
Virginia
kind of
doing?
just like,
She make the drop yet?
here's this part, you know. It's not really like a vehicle because I guess he wasn't really that famous yet.
She got a little skittish. She dropped the gear at
But yeah,
the
in this
garbage
one
dump
he's
instead of at the drop
pretty
site.
underutilized, I would say.
Ethan, it's okay. We'll get it out of there. Don't worry.
First in her class at Quantico, huh?
Go easy.
And then yeah, Ving Rhames comes back, of course, and Maggie Q is the other.
Good. Give her a
Their
monitor.
other chick on
Have
the
her
team.
watch and learn.
She's pretty hot, but I don't.
I'm routing the security camera feed through
Doesn't
your
really
remote
do much
camera
in the
viewer so
movie
you can
either.
get a look ahead. Done.
I don't know if
Security on
she
the
didn't
door's
have
been
that
neutralized, but you'll need to
La
finish the
Femme
job on
Nikita
your
show yet, I
end.
don't think. But I don't know how. I wonder if she had worked with Abrams before or some shit. It's kind of funny at the beginning because like in this one, like Ethan's married and he's trying to have like a normal life. He's having like a house party or whatever. And what is it? His brother-in-law is fucking Jesse Pinkman. And he always like plays the same part, like the kind of like super hyper energetic, like crazy white dude or whatever. He was in when I did a Birds of Prey review. He's in the pilot episode. But yeah, he's kind of like, I guess he's trying to be kind of funny. He's like I don't know if he's like a freeloader, but later on in the movie when he calls the house to like see if his wife is okay after that scene in the helicopter, he's like, oh hey man, I hope you don't mind, I'm in your house or whatever. Like it's kind of a weird thing to say. Like why would he be mad? I don't know.
Attention. Base alarm code red. Security breached. All personnel report to designated positions.
Oh yeah, and Lawrence Fishburne, his Gap Tooth smile, which they show off really, really big. Can you imagine that in theaters? But he's playing like, he's like the stereotypical like hard ass new leader at the fucking IMF or whatever the fuck. And you're kind of supposed to think he's bad, but it's kind of really obvious. Oh yeah, and Billy Crudup, who's kind of obviously like the bad guy right away. He's like, he kind of contacts Ethan to like get his help in trying to save Kerry Russell. But he's like kind of pulling the strings, I guess, to like get Ethan to find the fucking, what is it, the rabbit's foot or whatever. But yeah, and I guess he's the buyer for the thing too.
That camera sees no more, Ethan.
Yeah, there's a weird scene early on with Ethan and fucking Luther, and they're talking, and he's because he needs Luther's help to go on the mission, and he's telling him like, oh, this is crazy, man, like whatever, basically. But Luther's like, are you sure your motivations are pure, or your mind's not clouded because of like who she is? And Ethan's kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, she's my little sister. And then Luther's like, have you ever wanted to fuck your little sister? and Tom Cruise just looks at him like, what the fuck did you just say? That was an odd line, although it might be I guess it makes sense considering the fucking director. Oh yeah, and Simon Pegg's basically like kind of just like a desk guy, and they need him to like try and recover some shit on this laptop, and he says it in a funny way to like explain how hard it would be to get the shit off of the computer with a hole in it. Oh, the scene with Luther, it's not to save Carol, it's because his plan is to kidnap Philip Seymour Hoffman and use him to find out why he killed the girl, I guess. Oh yeah, so like Tom Cruise, he's not really like, I know they always call him the last movie star, but he's not really technically like a traditional like action star. Like, for one, he's more of a like thriller star, but like like I said in the last one, he doesn't really do like fighting really that much, and he's not like a traditional action star that has like famous catchphrases or anything. But yeah, anyway, there's a part in the movie where they're trying to break into the Vatican and shit, and Ethan like climbs up like over this gate or whatever, and he's laying on his back trying to like hide from a camera. And so it's him laying on his back looking towards the camera, and then it kind of like, the camera like zooms in on him, and he says, his line is, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Like, what the fuck, who wrote this shit? And I was like, oh yeah, I just looked at it, was fucking, I was gonna say Kurtzman and Orky fucking. So yeah, this is all the Star Trek crew basically, their beginnings. But yeah, that was cringy as fuck. But I didn't bring up the Austin Powers cameo, because that scene definitely reminds me of that cameo. I think it's in Spy Who Shagged Me, which is one of the movies I saw at the movie theater next to the hotel. But it's him and Gwyneth Paltrow. But anyway, there's a shot when Tom Cruise comes out dressed as Austin Powers, and then the camera kind of like pans into him, and he's like, "Oh, behave." That was literally like the same delivery that he had for that Humpty Dumpty line. I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's kind of a standard like infiltrate this dinner gathering scene, kind of like in the first movie. But Ethan basically has to like dress up like Philip Seymour Hoffman. It would have been funny if they showed him before he had to put the mask on, like kind of in a fat suit or whatever, or putting it on. uh, but yeah, there's like one tension part where like he's in the bathroom after he incapacitates Philip Seymour Hoffman, and his little voice changer's not ready yet, and so his guard like comes in and he's trying to cough and like tell him to get back or whatever.
I'm in the academy courtyard and looking for
Should
my
have
kid.
smoked. That would have
Excellent.
fucking
It should
made
be
it
near
more
the dumpster
believable.
up ahead. Just keep an eye out for laser tripwires. Meantime, I'll make contact with Marcoux.
And then yeah, like I said, they have this scene where he's like, "I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna hurt her," and then right after that, like they think they're getting away scot-free, and then they're on a fucking like bridge over the water, and these fucking helicopters start shooting missiles at them and shit. That's a pretty cool scene.
Camera disabled.
Uh, and then yeah, so after that, basically, fucking IMF brings Ethan in and like tries to capture him, or they do capture him, but Billy Crudup like helps him escape, and like I guess they try and throw you off because like Lawrence Fishburne's like suspicious of Crudup, but you think it's because he's on Ethan's side, or I guess you're supposed to think that, but it's obviously not. Why? Oh yeah, but there's a part they try to add some humor where like when Ethan's escaping, he takes a guard's walkie-talkie, and when he leaves it next to a boombox that's playing. I think it's We Are Family, and Lawrence Fishburne hears it and he's like, "You got to be kidding me," or something like that. But that's what I was saying, like in the last movie, and I think it happens. I don't know, but I think it happens later in the series also, where like they try and use humor by like juxtaposing a serious scene with like a funny song, or funny when it's juxtaposed, you know.
Do you see what I see?
Looks like advanced communications equipment.
I don't recall these things being on the schematics.
That's because they're not on the schematics.
And then
They
yeah,
must have
there's like
just
a
built
quick
them.
little
What do you
sequence of
think
him
they
like
are?
Special
having
data
a plan
receiving
to find
stations
the
of some
rabbit's foot
kind.
MacGuffin thing.
Snap a couple of
He has
photos.
to, like,
We'll send them back to the boys at HQ.
Fucking parachute off of a building, kind of like Dark Knight Rises. Well, actually, kind of like Mission Impossible 2. It's, I guess, like a more realistic looking version of that scene, where it's not obviously him like behind green screen. Uh, And then yeah, the ending's kind of like anticlimactic because he basically But yeah, the ending's kind of anticlimactic because basically, after he finds the rabbit's foot, they capture him and then they try and like make him believe that like they're gonna kill his wife, so they can. So they know for sure whether he's telling the truth about if he knows what the actual rabbit's foot is or whatever the fuck, I don't remember, but yeah, he basically just subdues Billy Crudup because Philip Seymour Hoffman literally like just steps aside and like, oh, this is the real bad guy, and it's like, what? That's lame. And then yeah, he subdues him, and then he fucking finds where his wife's hidden, and he beats up Philip Seymour Hoffman. Obviously, it's not really much of a fight. And then she has to use a gun, and she fucking saves Ethan at the end.
That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again.
She's like, I guess she's like tougher for it after that.
That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again.
Oh yeah, he has to kill himself in order to like short circuit the little bomb in his brain that they did to Carrie Russell. And then she has to like bring him back to life or whatever. Luckily she was a fucking nurse or whatever the fuck. And then yeah, the movie kind of ends with like him like telling her all about what the fuck IMF is, and she makes fun of.
Bingo. Nice work, Ethan.
She's like, it's called Impossible Mission Force. What the fuck? And then like Lawrence Fishburne's like asking Ethan to come back or whatever the fuck, and he's like, I'll take a vacation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a nice. I appreciate that it's short. It's like one of the shortest probably of all the Mission Impossibles. And it's it's simple. It's not really convoluted. Like I said, makes sense given the fucking creatives behind this. Which is because Star Trek's very simple. Yeah, Abrams' filmography is weird because then he did like Super 8, which was just Stranger Things after this, and then he did Star Trek, I think. That Super 8 movie got like it was way overrated. Super 8, super overrated. And then of course he fucked up Star Wars, but you would think he would have done more, would have done more shit in the time he's been a director, but I don't know, whatever. Maybe it's for the best. So yeah, Ghost Protocol. I've seen this movie one time before, and I remember thinking it was okay, and then when I watched it again, I was like, man, this movie's fucking awful, dude. I hate it. What year is this? 2011. Wow. So that's another. So yeah, another 5 years after the last one. Yeah, I feel like the movies, especially this one, kind of get like a little bit of a pass because they're not like pumped out every year, you know. I think it helps the reviews a little bit. But yeah, dude, this movie sucks. Brad Bird directed it. I remember thinking that, oh, that's cool. They're like, because I've been wondering like when he would get a shot. And I think it was like he was getting suggested for a lot of things. Fans were suggesting him for a lot of things because of Incredibles, obviously. But yeah, this was his big chance, and I think this movie fucking sucks. The box office, well, it did make a lot of money compared to its budget, so I don't think he didn't really do much directorial after this. I've still never seen Iron Giant. Oh yeah, he directed Ratatouille, Tutti Frutti. Classic movie. Tomorrowland, I never saw that shit. And then Incredibles 2. I don't think I've ever seen that either. And a third one, of course. Okay. But yeah, the premise of the movie's kind of stupid because it's like this fucking bitch at the IMF. She fucking this DEI hire. She fucking ruined a mission or whatever, fucked it up, and they need Ethan to like come back and make it right, I guess. And yeah, the movie opens up with like a prison break scene with like Frank Sinatra in the background. It's kind of like what I was talking about, like putting a song that might not fit with the scene, I guess, for like humor. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then yeah, I would say one of the only cool parts of the movie is early on. They have to like, I don't know, he has to steal some kind of shit, but it's him and Simon Pegg, and they're like kind of like dressed up as Russians and shit. And it's a cool piece of tech where like they're going down this hallway, and they open up like this like kind of projector, kind of like you would open an umbrella or something, and it has like a camera behind it that's
That photo's
moving.
no good, Ethan.
And
Try
it's
again.
like projecting an image of like whatever's behind them, you know, so you can't see them. But like I guess it only works on like certain like vantage points or whatever. But what like the guard is like, he's only seeing what's behind. But like I think if he were to
Looking
look,
good, Ethan.
or if the camera were like
How we
stop
doing
moving,
on
he would see
Marku?
through it or whatever.
Accessing the ministry database.
But anyway,
as we
there's a
speak.
funny part where like
And
they're like trying to inch along
Excellent.
down the
Where and
hallway,
when?
and then
Keep your shirt on, man. I'm typing as fast as I can.
Simon Pegg like fucking,
Come on.
I forget what he does, but he gets in
He's
front
not
of the camera
responding. Ethan
accidentally,
may
and
not be at his
his whole
computer.
face is like
Got to
projected
be
on
his
the screen.
computer. He contacted
And the
us.
guard's like
Wait.
happens to be looking away, and then
Here we go.
as soon as he turns, they
He'll
fix
meet
it.
you on the observation deck,
That was
west
like one of
side,
the only cool parts of the
2100.
movie.
You see?
Oh yeah, they're
Patience, my
trying to get
friend.
like
Don't you tell me about patience,
nuclear
Ethan.
codes or whatever. But that's one of the problems of this movie too, is it doesn't really
Good
have
evening, Mr. Marku.
like a
Mr.
villain
Hunt,
at all.
Your
Like,
timing is impeccable.
it doesn't have to be
You have
like
the disc? Of course.
villain of the
Show
week,
and
but
tell.
you know, these movies
when
have had
I arrive
like
safely in England, it will be yours.
charismatic
That
bad
wasn't the
guys or
arrangement.
good
I'm
actors
afraid
to
it
like
is now.
be
I'm not
antagonists,
exactly brimming
like
with
Kittredge,
confidence,
you know,
Mr. Hunt.
or even when they
All
brought in
right,
like Lawrence
if that's the way
Fishburne.
you want it. But from here on out, I call the shots. You
Yeah,
understand?
this movie doesn't really
I'm
have any of
listening.
that.
I go
There's
first.
this fucking
you
cringy
follow.
like
Outside
Russian
the ministry,
detective
we
that's
make a
like
left on
chasing
La
Ethan.
Bianca and a right at the first alley.
And then they bring
A
in
white
Jeremy
van
Renner.
will
This is
wait.
what the phenomenon I was
Plate
talking
number
about. Where like
YG1 PRP3.
instead of bringing in new women,
Any
and then
questions?
they started bringing in like new guys
Good.
to act with Tom.
Count of 20,
Uh,
20, 19.
I'm assuming
18.
because of Avengers, right? Well, this was 2011, so this would have been the year before Avengers came out. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I guess, because he's pretty underutilized in the movie and kind of whack. And so they kind of, you know, up his part in the second one, or the one after this one. So that makes sense, because that's post-Avengers. But yeah, then there's this sequence in Dubai, this kind of convoluted thing where Ethan has to, like, climb on the side of the building. But he's also, like, trying to like buy the fucking launch codes or whatever, and he's got like two teams doing it at the same time. And what's her face, Leah Sado, mentioned Kojima again. I bet he was fucking got a little got a little erection. Egg roll erection for this chick, so he had to put her in everything after that. Well, everything meaning Death Stranding 1 and 2. But she was pretty hot, so can't blame him for that, I guess. Yeah, I guess Kojima was watching this shit fucking bricked up. That's why he had to put her in Death Stranding 1 and 2. Oh yeah, and while all that's going on, when he's first like climbing up the building to get in there, they mention that there's like a Darude sandstorm coming. And it's kind of cool because they don't mention it again, so you think, because they're like, well, you'll be up there before the storm comes. But then, like, by the end of the sequence, when they're all the bad guys are fucking escaping, then, like, the actual sandstorm comes in, and that's how he loses them. And then, yeah, after that, they have a scene where you find out that, like, fucking Hawkeye, he was supposed to be like on a security detail watching Tom and his wife, and like I guess she got kidnapped or some shit or died, and Ethan like killed all these fucking Russians or whatever, and that's why he was in the prison in the beginning. But basically, like, Jeremy Renner like blames himself, and that's why he can't, like, I don't know, fully embrace the team or whatever the fuck. But yeah, the whole finale is pretty awful. There's yet another fucking banquet type scene, except it's an Indian banquet. And the chick has to fucking seduce this Indian dude, this Bollywood guy or whatever the fuck. It's really cringy. They try to make him like comic relief, and it's just really bad. And then yeah, basically the final battle happens in like this weird like parking garage elevator thingy, and like the dude with the launch codes has him in a briefcase, and they basically just like or the guy kind of like, he's like escaping like downstairs or whatever the fuck, so Ethan like gets in one of the cars and like puts the seatbelt on, and he like drives off and like just falls down head first on top of the guy. I mean, it's kind of interesting, I guess, but I don't think it's like a real stunt or anything that he did. But that basically saved the day and stops the nuke from launching. And yeah, dude, the final scene is fucked up because, like, they're all, like, hanging out, like, saying job well done or whatever the fuck. And then Ethan offers them all, like, or he wants them all to be part of his team. And Jeremy Renner's like, nah, man, I can't do it. And he's like, well, why? And he's like, man, I was supposed to protect you, and I let your wife die and shit. And then he's like, he just like, hey, look over there. He basically is like, just so happens to like be at the same place his wife is at. And he's like, she's not really dead. I had to like keep it a secret or whatever the fuck. And now I trust you with that secret. But it's such a fucked up part, because then after that, he like, Ethan goes to like watch her. And she's like going to dinner with some like some like fat black dude. And you hear him like, you hear his voiceover go like, come on, bitch. He's like telling her to come into the restaurant already, because she's just like standing outside looking at Ethan, and they look at each other like, what the fuck, stupid, whose fucked up fantasy was this shit? This is a bad ending, what the fuck. So yeah, Ghost Protocol, dude, fucking sucks, dude. It's bad. It only gets a pass because like these movies kind of didn't come out all the time, so it's supposed to be like an event or something. And then yeah, finally, Rouge Nation, Mission Impossible, what is this, 5? So yeah, I had seen this one once before also, and I remember liking it, but after watching it again, I had the opposite of the last one. Like, I thought it was really fucking good. To this point, the best one since the first one, I think. It was directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who's like Tom Cruise's homie now. This was his first chance to direct after writing. Well, he wrote, what did he write? Usual Suspects a long ass time ago. But he wrote Edge of Tomorrow before this, so I guess that's how they got hooked up. And then they did more movies after that.
Security breached. All personnel report to designated positions.
Yeah, I remember seeing the set photos of him like hanging onto the plane. That's pretty much like the opening little sequence. They kind of have a little formula going where like Renner's like kind of leading the mission, sort of, and then like Simon Pegg's there to like fuck up, you know, and have like this funny like nervous energy or whatever, and then fucking Tom comes in to save the day and shit. And then the main new addition is Alec Bowen. You are worthless, Alec Bowen. Yeah, dude, Alec Baldwin. He's basically playing the same part like Fishburne played in the third one, where he's like the hard ass against the IMF. Except in this one, like they actually shut the IMF down. Because Ethan like goes to get a new mission in like a record store, which is pretty neat. And there's like this hot cashier there, but she like she fucking sucks, dude. Cause like he goes in there to get the mission, but he's like been it was a trick by the syndicate. I think they mentioned it in the last one to like plant the seed for this, I guess. And then like Smoke comes into the record room and he like passes out and shit. And then the dude has like the hot chick at gunpoint. What's his name? Sean Harris. It's funny because like I feel like all the British dudes in the movie look the same. Like that dude and Peg and who's the other one? Well, I thought it was three. Either way, they look the same to me. But yeah, that's what gets the IMF in trouble, because he has to like go off the grid after that shit. Oh yeah, okay, so the Smoke, like they actually capture him. There's a pretty good like interrogation sequence where like he's like chained up BDSM style. And but it looked like he like gained some mass for this part. But yeah, he's like getting beat up and shit and tortured by the bone collector, whatever the fuck he's called. But there's like a hot like henchwoman or whatever that turns out to be an agent. She's really like a fucking triple agent. I like that this movie has like, you know, it's like the first one with like the, you know, who can you trust? It's like the real spy shit, you know. But yeah, Tom does this impressive shit where he's like, he can't get loose from the chains, even though he got the key, because it's too far. So he has to like lift his body weight with his core and like go up the fucking pole and come off the top of it. That was probably like the most impressive thing he's done. Because like when he's hanging on a plane and shit, they just have him like, he's stuck on there, so all he has to do is hold on. But that took some effort. And yeah, Simon Pegg gets to do a little acting. Well, he does a lot, but in the beginning he's like, he's still working at the CIA or whatever, and they're questioning him all the time, because they think he might be helping Ethan or whatever. And then eventually Ethan does want his help, and he has to like, he's like kind of pleading with him at first to like let him help him. He's like, no, I can't let you do that. And then he gets mad. He's like, "No, I'm gonna, I'm a man and I know what I'm getting into. And I'm gonna help you." And Ethan's like, "Okay." I thought that was a good scene. And yeah, there's a cool little sequence at
That photo's no good,
at
Ethan.
an opera.
Try again.
Because yeah, Ethan needs Simon Pegg's help to like watch out for him because he's like, I guess they have information that the guy's gonna be there, the syndicate guy, or like someone's gonna get assassinated. But I mean, it's cool because like, opera and movies goes really well, and like there's kind of like dueling snipers, the chick from earlier, and like this other guy, and Simon Pegg like distracts her and makes her miss the shot and shit. But yeah, it's basically just supposed to like be a scene where like her and Ethan come together so she can like she has his trust or whatever because she's really working for she's working for multiple people. And then yeah, the impossible part of the mission is Simon Pegg has to like infiltrate this fucking what are they trying to get? Oh, okay, so they're looking for the operatives that are in. It's like a list of the operatives in the syndicate. It's like the knock list. And so yeah, they need Simon Pegg to like go in there in disguise, but he can't just use a mask because the security can like identify how you walk, your gait, if you will. And then so in order to like switch the fucking like I don't know, security clearance or whatever the fuck, it's like a key card. In order to switch it out so it'll recognize him, Ethan has to like go underwater in this power plant, and he's got like a water meter, which is pretty cool. I think underwater sequences are always good at like having tension because it's like, fuck, dude. I'd be fucked if I had to breathe for like more than 30 seconds or hold my breath for more than 30 seconds. But yeah, it's a cool little sequence, and then he just barely gets it off in time, and the chick saves him from drowning, and Simon Pegg's all happy and shit, like, yeah, we got it. And then when she's getting out of the water, getting out of her wetsuit, dude, you get a fucking back shot and some side boob. Like, holy shit. It's the best movie ever. Best Mission Impossible. But yeah, and then she basically takes off with the fucking list and takes it over to her British master. He's like a really like, he's got like this kind of like, I don't want to say generic, but like this nice like British voice. Like the stereotypical British voice you would hear in your head, kind of. But yeah, and then he's basically shady too, of course. Oh yeah, but then like when she steals the list, like they actually go after her, and also Luther and Jeremy Renner are trying to find them also. And they have a funny dynamic because they're trying to chase them, but they're in like this big like Jeep or whatever the fuck, and they're kind of like bickering at each other. Like Jeremy Renner's like, "Oh, you had to get to fucking 4x4, whatever the fuck it was," and they're just bitching at each other about their rental. They have a good dynamic. That would have made they should have did another movie together or something. But yeah, it's like a whole like 10 to like 12-minute chase scene, which is pretty awesome. It kind of starts off in like a crowded streets or whatever.
Nice shot. Camera disabled.
Tom gets to do some fucking Fast and the Furious shit where he like pulls on the e-brake and like spins out and shit, which is pretty cool. And then it like and then it like spills onto the highway, and like they have some motorcycle stuff, which is pretty good. But yeah, one of the best like chase sequences definitely in the series. And then yeah, after the chick takes the list to the British guy. Oh yeah, because she basically wants him to like go back to the dude Lane, the bad guy. She's like, well, he doesn't trust me. He's like, yeah, but he trusts that pussy. So he's like, are you with us? You gonna go back over there? And she's like, fuck. And then yeah, they have this pretty great scene where like all the main players are like kind of sitting and planning their next move, and they're like, he's gonna go after the Prime Minister of England or whatever. And so Jeremy Renner like wants to like call MI6 and warn them. And Tom's like, well, hold on a minute, let's think about this. And he's like, dude, what is this? Is just because like you want to get back at the dude that's bested you at every turn or whatever the fuck. And Tom's like, what? Is that what you think this is? And then he gets to do his yelling shit, where he's like, there is no preventing this. And then yeah, they have a scene where like they're it's kind of another generic kind of spy situation where like they're meeting in this like crowded area, and I guess they're supposed to like give her the list or whatever, and she like fucking takes off with it.
Break his
She, like,
arms,
fucking
then
blends
take him for a swim in the river.
But yeah, basically like Lane's people take her, and their plan next is they have to like get the Prime Minister, and like before he does, I guess. And it's more like using the mask and shit to like fake their identities, and they kind of play it for humor a little bit, because like the minister gets shot with like a serum, and they get him to like tell the truth or whatever, or the bad guy, the British dude. But yeah, it mostly just leads to a finale where like they're kind of in like this outdoor little patio area, and like Simon Pegg's there, and he's got like a fucking bomb strapped to him, and he has to like say whatever Lane is saying, and so he's like having a conversation with Ethan, which is pretty cool. And he like pays him all this money or whatever to release him, and then they have to like, him and the chick, they have to escape, and they kind of get separated at a certain point, and there's this kind of cool sequence where she has a knife fight with this guy in like this like empty like kind of alleyway with these like columns in the background. That was pretty cool. And Ethan and Lane have like a little fight, but he basically like tricks him into like
Ethan, do you read?
falling down this
What's going
hole.
on out there?
Marcoux is dead.
And he like he's in like a fucking glass
Shot
cage,
on the street as we were walking out.
and
What
then
about
like
the
smoke
disc?
starts
Got it, but I've got
filling up, and
company.
he tries to
Jesus,
shoot
Luther,
Ethan,
how
and
did
it
this
doesn't work.
happen?
They must have compromised our system. There's no other
And
way
then
they could have
just
known we were
fucking- They
coming.
push
You
the
guys
thing
better
over.
get in here now.
We're on our way.
So you're supposed to imagine him going like bumping into the glass and shit. And then yeah, the movie basically ends with Eric Bowen recommending that IMF come back or whatever the fuck. And then it's him and Jeremy Renner. His line is like, "Welcome to the team," or "Welcome to the IMF," or whatever the fuck. Yeah, overall, like I said, what I like about it is like it brought the spy stuff to me. What I think of like spy stuff back from like the first one, and like yeah, the other ones they do kind of like travel around or whatever. But it felt more like the first one, like they go to Prague and shit. And this one had like like London or whatever. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm clear. Fire! Take him out, now!
Make one move and I shoot.
Go, Billy. What in God's name are you waiting for?
It was unfortunate that the breach in our firewall prevented you from getting Mr. Marcoux out of Ugaria alive. Despite the setback, you are to be commended for your recovery of the mini-disc. Among its most incriminating contents were several references to Los Muertos Laboratories, one of America's premier incubators of advanced military technology. Los Muertos has been under heavy scrutiny in recent months. It's widely believed that a nested foreign agent has been stealing high-level scientific data from the facility. How he's managed to override the complex mechanisms protecting the mainframe remains unknown. Though reports on the identity of this agent are varied, evidence strongly suggests it is this man, Yang Ho Lee, A cunning freelancer who's been associated with North Korean intelligence, the Chinese SAS, and Hungarian President Simon Algo. We need to know how this data is being stolen, Ethan, and destroy any and all files pertaining to top-secret weapons research. We can't have any more of this information falling into the wrong hands. And as for Young Ho, well, I'll leave that to your discretion.
Dr. Kenneth Norton, Chief Research Scientist. Grab a photo of him with your digital binoculars before he leaves the area. And while you're at it, we also need a pic of one of the guards. Spelvin needs clear shots to fabricate the mask you'll need once you're in there. That means you need to take photos from close range and capture their faces. Should be a walk in the park. One more thing you should know. With unidentified intruders, it's shoot to kill. That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again.
Starting to hear things in my old age. Damn mice. Damn mice. Guess it was nothing.
You there! Show yourself!
shot. Camera disabled. Nice shot. Camera disabled. That camera is officially blind.
You there! Show yourself!
That camera sees no more, Ethan. Ethan, you blew our cover. Abort the mission. Repeat, abort the mission.
Who's there?
That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again.
Guards, come quickly!
Alert. Security system engaged. Facility lockdown
Ethan,
commenced.
you've been exposed. Abort the mission. Repeat, abort the mission. That photo's no good, Ethan.
Security system engaged. Facility lockdown commenced.
Who's there?
Nice shot. Camera disabled. Ethan's been shot. Abort the mission. Repeat, abort the mission.
Stop right there!
Who's there?
Alert. Security system engaged. Facility lockdown commenced. Attention. Alert. Security system engaged. Facility lockdown commenced. Attention. Alert. Security system engaged. Facility lockdown. Attention, Los Muertos personnel. Base alarms have been deactivated.
What's going on
Security
over there?
forces return to checkpoints. Repeat. Security forces return to checkpoints.
Ethan's hit. Abort. Repeat, abort the mission. Our window of opportunity is closing fast, Ethan.
Alert.
Norton's heading back.
Halt!
Ethan's hit. Abort. Repeat, abort the mission.
Stop right there!
Our window of opportunity is closing fast. Looking good, Ethan. That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again. photo's no good, Ethan. Try again. Norton has left the area, Ethan. Nice shot. Camera disabled.
Who's there? Hold it right there, pal. Keep your hands where I can see him. Freeze!
Ethan, we're not done in this sector yet. That photo's no good, Ethan. Try again. Bingo! Nice work, Ethan. Nice work, Ethan. Both photos have been received and duplicated. Spelvin will meet you inside with the masks. You'll need to hack the computer at the security booth to gain entrance.
Spelvin, what the fuck?
Hack complete. You can access the door lock now, Luther.
Copy that. Open sesame, my friend.
Damn, dude, he's like Link.
All right, Luther. Here's where we find out just how sharp your hacking skills are.
Sharp enough?
Sharp enough. I think I'd do a better fucking Ving Rhames than this guy. I don't know why Ethan sounds like Max Payne.
I'm in. We're clear.
Good deal. Your next mission, should you choose to accept it.
You're a funny guy, Luther.
Just trying to keep it light, partner. What do you say we neutralize the good doctor?
Look at this
Be
fucking
happy
nerd.
to.
You also need to hack into Norton's personal computer and look for any incriminating
And get the
information.
blaster.
Then make your way to the data center and log Norton out so Spelvin can take
That's
his
that
place.
John
Copy
Carpenter's
that.
Vampires. The sequel is called Los Muertos. It makes me think of that.
What was that?
Better shut off that alarm, Ethan. Time is running out.
Security system engaged. Facility lockdown commenced.
Better look
Turn
into
more
this.
alarms on.
Attention, Los Muertos personnel. Base alarms have been deactivated. Security forces.
I don't think it was
Shut
a
off
real
that alarm,
gun,
Ethan.
dude.
Time is running out.
Security system engaged. Facility
Ethan's been
lockdown
shot.
commenced.
Abort the mission. Repeat, abort the mission.
That's his snake. Snake.